When Steven and his BFF Connie fused, it changed the game on Steven Universe. Human fusion showed us that important bonds could transcend the rules of fusion we had come to know and completely flip the script, opening up more possibilities, like Steg. Not only did this fresh fusion usher in new rules to the world, this character brought even more representation to an already diverse cast. I'm Kris Carr, and today I'm talking to you about Stevonnie from Steven Universe. Before we dive in, I want to give a shout out to all of our donors on Patreon. You heroes keep us afloat in the YouTube sea. If you want to pitch in, see if a donation tier works for you. We'll thank you kindly in return. If charity ain't your thing, but stuff is, get yourself some swag by clicking our TeePublic link. Their shirts are the best. On to Stevonnie.
Steven. Connie! I did it! You did it?
Stevonnie is the fusion of Steven Universe and his best friend Connie. The two fuse for the first time in the episode alone together. Steven's talking to Connie about trying to work on his fusion moves, and Connie admits that she doesn't like people to see her dancing. So Steven asks her to dance with him since it's just the two of them. And once they get comfortable, Steven's gem starts glowing and the two realize they've fused with one another.
Oh my gosh, look at you now! I'm a fusion.
The gems are blown away that these two humans, well, one human gem hybrid, are even able to fuse. Even Greg and Rose couldn't do that. The name Stevonnie was coined by smushing their names together. They're the Brangelina of Beach City. A Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan fusion without all the baggage. And it only takes one episode to happen.
Steven? Connie? Stevonnie?
Stevonnie is a literal combination of a boy and a girl and does not identify as either gender. They're androgynous and possess feminine features like long hair and hips, and masculine features like facial hair. It's confirmed in the episode Jungle Moon that Stevonnie is capable of growing more facial hair and much faster than Steven is. Why? Well, Rebecca Sugar has stated that when Steven and Connie fuse, their ages combine. Thus, Stevonnie is biologically older. Now, I love Stevonnie because it's such great representation, as they represent both typically masculine and feminine behavioral traits.
What do I owe you?
Oh, nothing. It's on the house.
The citizens of Beach City, men and women alike, are enamored with Stevonnie and consider them to be very physically attractive. While fused, Steven and Connie can still talk to one another. Stevonnie's voice actress, AJ Mashaka, lowers her voice when she's talking to Steven and uses a higher pitch for Connie.
I wish you were here. If we were together, it would be okay. But we are together, and it's not.
She even created the character's laugh by listening to the combined laughs of Steven and Connie's voice actors. This is a fantastic detail and makes so much sense. Fusions, after all, are two life forms coming together. Stevonnie's personality further reflects this. They can be fun and playful like Steven, and considerate and anxious like Connie. Connie and Stevonnie's anxiety are another bit of representation I really appreciate. Their depiction of an anxiety attack when Stevonnie becomes the center of attention at a party is done so well.
Why isn't it like it's supposed to be?
Let's talk about their abilities. Like all fusions, Stevonnie possesses superhuman strength. Though they're more human than gem, Stevonnie is considerably stronger than Steve on his own. This is likely due to Connie's athleticism being mixed with Steven's super abilities. They appear to utilize your standard set of gem abilities like weapon summoning and heightened agility. Thanks to that rose quartz, pink diamond, Steven Universe gemstone, Stevonnie can summon Rose's shield. Just like Steven, Stevonnie can use the shield offensively by chucking it. Because of Connie, Stevonnie shows excellent swordsmanship and is very skilled in combat when wielding Rose's sword. And I really love this. Typically, Steven is the more empathetic one, and Connie is the combat-based force, bucking typical gender roles. And speaking of empathy, Stevonnie also has Steven's empathic telepathy. They can connect with other life forms and communicate through dreams. They also seem to be able to regulate how quickly they can descend after jumping from an attack, remaining in the air for an unnaturally long time. They do this little flutter kick to lower themselves back down to the ground.
Oh. All right! Stevonnie's got floating powers!
Stevonnie also seems to have visions that feel more like hallucinations. We see an example of this in Alone Together when they see the road crumbling before them. Garnet goes on to explain in Mindful Education that an emotional imbalance can cause fusions to see things that aren't there. These sorts of imbalances can lead to fusions falling apart. So, Garnet encourages them to deal with emotional issues that trigger this imbalance and implement a calming exercise to address those feelings.
To find balance, you must understand your feelings. To understand your feelings, you must see them clearly without running from them.
Stevonnie describes themselves as intersex and non-binary in the Dove Self-Esteem Project X Steven Universe social media PSA. Prior to this spot, we knew they used they-them pronouns, but this canonized Stevonnie's gender identity, making them the first character to be canonically intersex.
Hey, I'm Stevonnie. Let's talk about social media. This is my page.
In case you aren't quite sure what that term means, Planned Parenthood defines intersex as a general term used for a variety of conditions in which a person is born with a reproductive or sexual anatomy that doesn't fit the typical definitions of female or male. Sometimes, an intersex person is assigned a female or male sex at birth through surgery if external genitals are not obviously male or female. Being intersex is a naturally occurring variation in humans and isn't a medical problem. It's also more common than most people realize. It's hard to know exactly how many people are intersex, but estimates suggest that 1 in 100 people born in the US is intersex. Naturally, Stevonnie is a character that has helped highlight conversations and questions folks may have when it comes to non-binary and trans people, and not just on screen. In the Steven Universe comics, Stevonnie meets Kiki of Kiki Pizza and ends up going prom dress shopping with her. Kiki knows Steven and Connie, of course, but she doesn't know about fusions. Now, the two become fast friends, and Kiki seems quite taken by Stevonnie, so much so that she asks them to prom. When Kiki mentions going on another date, Stevonnie rushes to the bathroom and unfuses, and we see Steven and Connie begin panicking. Did they lie to Kiki? Is it a lie of omission? Do they need to tell everyone right from the start who and what Stevonnie is? This issue highlights the stress and confusion that can come with someone passing as a cis and can feel like they're keeping a secret or being inauthentic. In less deft hands, the optics of these panels could be very bad, and this conversation could go south quickly. Instead, we get a nuanced discussion that feels authentic, which makes sense. Writer Melanie Gilman identifies as non-binary and is well equipped to navigate this topic. In addition to being an intersex icon, Rebecca Sugar has said that Stevonnie represents first love. She said Stevonnie is a, quote, metaphor for all the terrifying firsts in a first relationship, and what it feels like to hit puberty and suddenly find yourself with the body of an adult, how quickly that happens, how it feels to have a new power over people, or to suddenly find yourself objectified, all for seemingly no reason since you're just still you.
Why isn't anyone else dancing? This is what being cool at a cool dance is, right? This is how it's supposed to be.
Have your doubts about them being super influential when it comes to intersex, non-binary, and trans representation? Well, on January 10th of 2020, Janelle Monáe appeared to come out as non-binary by retweeting a gif of Stevonnie being not a boy, not a girl, but an experience, with the hashtag I am non-binary.
You are not two people, and you are not one person. You are an experience.
The singer-actor has yet to share more, including preferred pronouns, but I think it's pretty rad that Stevonnie was a huge part of this trending hashtag. Stevonnie also helps depict active consent. In the episode Alone Together, Stevonnie gets 2 donuts. They realize they can't share them in the same way they could when they're 2 separate people. We only focus on the donuts, which now serve to represent Connie and Steven as they have a conversation through Stevonnie about staying fused. They check in and ask if the other's okay, if they want to stop. They take the time to reaffirm consent because things are a little uncomfortable.
Are you okay? We can stop if you... No, don't worry.
And speaking of uncomfortable, let's talk about that douche nozzle Kevin. Stupid Kevin at this party gives Stevonnie the up down before saying, "Hey baby." Stevonnie is visibly not comfortable with this interaction. Kevin thrusts his hips towards them. Kevin invades their space. Don't be a Kevin. He's a creep.
He kept asking us to dance with him, even though we said no. It was really uncomfortable.
He didn't even care about how we felt at all.
Stevonnie tries to regain control of the situation by dragging him onto the floor and rage dancing. Now, this was the first time we ever saw Kevin. It's kind of a weird introduction for Steven Universe. Usually, the show reuses its existing recurring characters for speaking roles, and if they introduce someone new, it's through a relationship with somebody they've established in the series already. Kevin just pops up to make us all uncomfortable. Maybe he's one of Sour Cream's internet friends? Regardless, this rando's blatant disrespect of boundaries really makes us as viewers feel how something nice like dancing would become so uncomfortable for Stevonnie. Kevin, of course, will serve as an antagonist for Stevonnie in other episodes. He'll go on to claim they were obsessed with him, taunt them, and try to use them to gain cool points with local teens.
The view from the mountain was pretty great.
Hey, don't try to teach me a lesson. You lost.
Second place isn't so bad.
Kevin, in my opinion, is here to represent harassment, assumption, and entitlement. If anyone treats you like a Kevin, GTFO, homie! Or be like Stevonnie and reassert yourself. Because if we can take anything away from this fusion, it's that confidence and making sure you're comfortable with who you are and what you're doing is all you really need to make a strong impression. And I guess epic hair doesn't hurt either.
2 donuts, please.
Now guys, did I miss anything about Stevonnie? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks again to all of our donors, to TeePublic, and all of you fine folks for tuning in. If you like this video, maybe give it a like, give us a subscribe, and make sure you clang that bell. For more videos, click to the left. Thanks for watching. See you, Space Cowboy.